Welcome to the live stream appointment of today's communicators. I'm your host, Kris Reichert. I'm a video communications coach, and we are live streaming right now to YouTube, Facebook Business, and LinkedIn. So welcome to all of you joining the broadcast, the live streaming, and welcome to all of you that are going to be watching the recording. So in the broadcast studio with me today, I've got a great guest. I'm really excited about the topic that we're going to be discussing today. Midlife makeover, getting older means getting better. Hallelujah. So I'd like to welcome nutritionist and women's health coach who specializes in helping women over the age of 40, Annie Gaudreault. Hi, Annie. How are you?
I'm great, Kris. Fabulous to be here.
Oh, wonderful to have you here. I'm so excited to dig into this because I'm of a certain age and I'm just hoping that it's going to be good. No, I'm going to rephrase that. I'm not hoping. I know it's going to get better. In fact, I reached a deep point of awareness when I turned 50, and the future is every day is the next day of the rest of my life, and it's going to be amazing. So let's dive right into it. What do you mean exactly by midlife makeover?
Well, often I think that we've associated midlife with a little bit of that negative turning point, right? Like it's like, oh, well, my looks are gone. I'm going to get this, not a lot of people think they're going to get fatter. They're going to lose their appeal. And a lot of this associated with women, and that they're going to lose their relevance because certainly, I'm talking to you from North America, but I think we see this in Europe as well. There's a lot of ageism. Ageism is alive. So it needs a makeover because the science and the data says completely otherwise, that it
Really?
actually gets better. Yes.
The
Yes.
science and the data are telling us otherwise. So
Yes.
if I don't feel like I felt no, actually, a lot of people feel like they felt when they were much younger, but they don't feel they look the same. So when I was 25, I looked completely different than I look now, but the science and data are telling us that in fact it gets better. Please discuss.
Well, first of all, the most amazing thing is that there is a famous study done by sociologists around what we call happiness, right? So this state of personal fulfillment, right? Not happiness like giddy, but just this overall sense of like, I feel good about myself. I enjoy my capacity to enjoy life. Let's put it that way. And it is actually literally, they call it a U curve. So as we are younger, we are very high on that happiness index. And then it slowly goes down and down. And then at 45 to about 50, there's always a bit of plus and minus here. That is the lowest. And then what happens is that it creeps back up. And then
Really?
as we age, it only gets better. And it literally is a U shape. And this is
Wow.
across culture and economic situation. This is a very well-known piece of data that has been repeated over and over again.
Okay, so you dedicate your career and your life to helping women really understand this and helping them live the best lives possible from the age of 40 and up. But why does this all mean so much to you?
Well, I say I'm a late bloomer, and I had a different career, which was really great, but was not fulfilling.
Mm.
And I was basically an automatic pilot, right? This is what society wants us to do and work, 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 work. And eventually realized that I had never chosen the path that I was on. It kind of always had chosen me. And I discovered that I had a big, personal crisis in my 40s. And I decided that I was going to really look at what my life was about, personally, professionally. And I decided that at that time I needed to make some big changes in order to have that happiness. Otherwise, it was this big, ginormous, empty place. And it's not that I was somebody that had depression or anxiety or anything like that. I was just very much unfulfilled. And I thought this is a bit of now or never. So I went back to school to become a nutritionist and to really do something where it was according to my values. I love health and wellness. I love fitness. And I wanted to do something good for humanity, helping women getting healthier and stronger.
Oh, love it. That's fantastic. And what would you say is the biggest influence or like the main factor when it comes to aging well?
It's totally beliefs. Your belief system are so strong, Kris, that they even have quantified that if you have positive beliefs around aging, you can add 7.5 years to your life. This is actually quantified.
Oh my goodness, this is amazing. Well, I heard a beautiful visualization an affirmation that Jennifer Lopez had given, and it was, "I am youthful and ageless at every stage in life." And look at her. Look at
Amen.
her, right?
Yes.
I interviewed her on a red carpet. She looked like a porcelain doll.
Oh,
She's
wow.
absolutely the most beautiful, youthful looking woman I've ever seen in my life. And so I have incorporated that affirmation and I've been saying it every day ever since I learned about that. In fact, but I've never had a lot of issues around aging and I don't give myself a hard time, luckily. And so I think that I'm probably doing a pretty good job at having positive beliefs around aging.
Yes. And the
And I really
second
love
thing,
turning 50. Sorry.
yes. No,
Yeah.
no, no, absolutely. And I got to tell you, there is not enough tea in China for me to go back to being 30. And no way. I will be 54 in July, and I am thrilled of being here at this stage of my life. I love what I get to do. I love my appreciation of life at this stage, which I never did before. Do I need to take care of myself? Of course. My body has changed, right? Like I went through menopause. Of course, there has been changes, but there've been positive changes. This is liberating, which is why also again midlife needs a makeover. Back to the top, right?
Yeah,
It is a
exactly.
liberating age. It's not a gloom and doom. Absolutely not.
Oh, amazing. Love it. Now, you've got a very interesting story because you were a major athlete in your past. Tell us something about you that not many people, let's say, know
Mhm.
about.
Well, I think that when you do endurance events like marathoning and Ironman type triathlons, people think that you have special genes. They think that you're this like you must be made out of something different than I am. And as a matter of fact, I love to tell the story that I was in school when they were picking kids to be on teams. I was always the last one chosen because I was terrible. I was really not gifted. Um, and I grew up with the belief, once again, it goes back to that I was not good at sports and that I was
Mhm.
not talented or strong when it came to physical abilities. And then I discovered that actually running and endurance running was magical. And through that, I will tell you, Kris, and I think it was incredibly powerful for me is that I discovered a lot of who I am through these long races, this long training, because there is nowhere to escape. You will
Mm,
feel things, you cannot ignore them because here you are. It's you, the pavement, the environment around you. You can't hide. And it was very powerful for me. So I
that's
highly recommend
fascinating.
it.
Yeah, because apparently, I mean, well, we have all of this rush of endorphins that are released when you are running on a professional level, like endurance running. After a certain point, you reach this peak where your endorphins are just like, whoo. So you've got all of these amazing feelings, and you're in your head. It's kind of like a meditative state, isn't it? Once you get
Very
to
much
that
so.
point.
And it's really cool because to this day I still run. I don't run as often like in terms of endurance as I used to. But I get tons of ideas. So when
Wow.
you're exercising, you can get really creative. And I get all kinds of ideas for what I'm going to write about, how I can support my clients. It's really fabulous. But I want to say to women that this is a really important thing to realize is um, you don't have to have any special talents. This is available to all of us, right? We're
Mm.
not going to the Olympics here. We just need to stay active because this is going to be translating into freedom as you age, right? Because your body's going to stay strong for you. That shell needs to be taken care of, like your nice apartment or your good home, right? You need
Yeah.
to take care of that beautiful shell that allows you to have that beautiful experience.
Nice. Love it. Love it. So what was a key, like a pivotal moment in your life that you can say, looking back, you can say brought you to where you are now, to what you're doing now?
It's actually when I had this really, really low point.
Hmm.
When I had this personal crisis that I referred to earlier in my late 30s. Um, my a relationship of 13 years ended, and we owned a company together. So essentially, all my eggs were in the proverbial one basket.
Right.
And so, talk about losing it all. And at that time, I knew that I was at a crossroad. I knew that it was time to wake up. Whatever the universe was sending, I certainly did not know, but the universe was saying the same old is not going to work anymore.
Hmm.
This is not sustainable. You need to do something different. It was painful. It was I carried a lot of shame. I thought there was so many things wrong with me. Why can't I make this work? Blah 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 blah. And but it was a massive gift because sometimes you just need to feel that pain. When there's enough pain, then you go, I cannot do this anymore. It's no different than the person who goes to the doctor, knows they've had maybe a little bit of weight or bad habits. And then the doctor says, well, if you continue on this path, you're going to become a diabetic or you're going to have a
Right.
heart attack, right? It's the wake up call. Well,
Yeah.
this was my wake up call times 10.
So emotionally, you went through this. Did it also play a toll on you physically?
Oh, I'm sure it did. I'm sure
Hmm.
it did.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Stress is like the biggest killer out there. So I can imagine
Yes.
that it played a toll on you physically. Wow. Okay. And then so you turned it around because you have a choice at that point.
Yes.
There's your fork in the road. You either
Yes.
go into self-wallowing and victimization and all that stuff, or you decide to turn it around and make the best out of your life and move forward as strong as you can. So, wow,
Yes.
hats off to you, Annie.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah,
you.
that's
Well,
great.
I think that sometimes, hopefully, this is changing now. We see a little bit of this, but um, there are many moments where we think that something is so final,
Right.
right? I have this moment in time, something happens. It doesn't have to be as dramatic as I described it. And we think that it's the end of the world and that
Yeah.
this is it, right? We only see 6 feet in front of us. And I think that a big part of what was happening for me is finally being able to rise above and go, there is something beyond that 6 feet in front of you, Eddie. And there is a lot that you can do. It's up to you, absolutely 100% up to me. And this is where I learned that I was 100% responsible for me. There was no blaming,
So great.
full
Yes.
stop. This
Full
is
stop.
me. It's me now. What's done is done. And I need to forgive myself. I need to forgive others. And this is why it's so good midlife, because I think that this is the opportunity to start to love who we are, to be more compassionate, less competitive with others.
Right.
And that doesn't mean you stop being competitive with yourself or asking yourself to do and have goals, but the opportunity to go, I'm able to do this. I
There
am
you
able
go.
to move forward.
Put yourself to the test, but by positive encouragement rather than criticism, right? So we can always strive to be better, but that doesn't mean to beat ourselves up in the process. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly. And midlife is really good for that because you start to know yourself a lot better.
Yes. The clarity that comes with this stage and yeah, that knowing requires, of course, a share level of intention to intentionally want to uplift yourself and to get to know yourself. And I know that sounds really kind of cliche, but it's true. There is a lot of understanding how we are, what makes us tick, if something vibrates well or it doesn't sit with us, to really discern between those things that are good for us and not good for us and to move on them. Very
Yeah.
fascinating. Now, Annie, what's one thing that really bothers you? Now, I don't want to put the focus on anything negative, but it says a lot about a person when you discuss something that bothers you, maybe in in society or the systems in the world? Like, what's one thing that bothers you?
Well, I think that there's a lot of lies that are perpetrated out there that
Mm.
simply are hurting people. We were talking about, how self beliefs around aging is, can add 7.5 years to your life. Um, when I hear a lot of these myths around midlife or aging in general, and that it's this doom and gloom, it gets me really fired up in a negative way because it hurts people's ability to enjoy this one life. We get one shot at this. Right? There is no makeover. There is no, I did not like that video, I'm going to record it again. This is it. Right? This is it. So, the faster we get on with that embracing of what is happening to us, even when it's hard, the more we get to enjoy this experience. So it really annoys me when I hear all this stuff, and I even have a folder called anti-aging shit.
I love it.
I keep track of all these ads, all these memes, all these
Really?
things that are because the brain is trained that if you see something over and over and over again, you assume that it's true.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it's very nasty for us because we start to adopt these thoughts, and we don't question. We don't go, is this really true?
Mm-hmm.
Where did that come from? Right?
Well, we don't have the time in a day to say, hey, hold on a second, I'm going to go and research all of that. And then I'm going to compare notes and I'm going to cross research. And, it's just, we take it for face value and we say, well, they've obviously done the research. So they must they must know it's true.
Yes.
So yeah, we have that tendency. Yeah, absolutely. Well, instead, putting the focus on good things, what's one thing that really lights you up?
Oh, I'm excited by seeing transformation. I
Right.
see it in my practice, right? And this is probably the thing that is the most rewarding thing in life, is when you see someone who, often people that I coach, they've lost belief in themselves. They gave up on the possibility of feeling strong and healthy again. And when I see this, this shift, and now they're like, wow, I have more energy than I had 10 years ago. I feel
Amazing.
so much better. I honestly, there is no better feeling. There is no better feeling.
I have to say, I agree with you, because that kind of gratification in the beginning, wasn't it like you weren't prepared for it? But then all of a sudden, this gratification that you're getting from doing what you do is just through the roof. I've experienced that as well, because I also do coaching among the many things that I do. But in my video communications coaching, seeing my clients step into their greatness is by far one of the best feelings on this planet to have. So that is so great. So I often love to conclude a live stream interview with an inspirational quote. Do you have a quote, Annie, that is relevant to your business and to something, and that's something that really inspires you in general?
I have so many. However, one that is top of mind right now, and it will fit perfectly with our conversation today, Kris, is a very simple but powerful one, which says, we are not our age, but we are always our energy.
Ooh, I love that.
So
We
how
are
we
not
show up,
age, but we
right?
are always our energy.
Yes, because it is our energy that drives our curiosity, that makes us show up for life, as I call it, right? You have to show up for life to enjoy it. And that means you have to have the energy mentally, emotionally, physically. And all of these have to be in unison. And when we see women like Jennifer Lopez, who is full of life, when we look at women like Dolly Parton recently said, I'm not worried about burnout. I'm burning up. And she was referring, she
I
is so
love it.
cool. I love
Oh,
Dolly.
I love Dolly Parton, but I
And
didn't know she was so cool. Like, I love her music.
she is an amazing woman. She's such an accomplished entrepreneur. So hats off to her. But what she was talking about is this level of energy that she has in her. It's this creative energy. It's the emotional energy. She has this drive, this purpose. And that's what drives me. I look at these women and I'm totally inspired and I go, yes, let's do this.
Oh, fantastic. Well, you've inspired me today, Annie. How can people get in touch with you if they'd like to maybe book a call and discover if this is something that they'd be interested in doing?
Absolutely. Simply go to vive.ca. So you see it on our stream here,
Yeah.
veev.ca. There's a contact button. I have a 30-minute complimentary call, and we can check how we can actually increase your energy and improve every other dimension of your life.
Wonderful. I highly recommend, Annie. Thank you so much for being with me today. This has been so inspirational. Thank you. And just like, you are awesome. You're amazing helping all of these women, and you're so passionate about it. You're authentic, and you're just a superstar. Thanks so much, Annie.
Thank you, Kris.
Take care. Thanks everyone
Bye-bye.
for joining the live, and thanks to all of
Yes.
you that are watching the recording. We will see you soon for another live stream appointment of Today's Communicators. Ciao for now.